Hello guys, welcome back to Hari Academy CACS CMA, where success is built on strong foundation. I am Uday Kumar, your Auditing and Financial Management faculty. And in today's sessions, we are continuing with our double 100 MCQ series for CMA Inter Group 2. So in our previous attempt, we brought you the double 100 MCQ series for Group 1, and now we have done the same for Group 2, covering Paper 9, Operations Management and Strategic Management, Paper 10, Corporate Accounting and Auditing, Paper 11, Financial Management and Business Data Analytics, and Paper 12, Management Accounting. So for Auditing and Financial Management, I have done by myself, okay? So if you are only looking for MCQs across all papers, okay? So they are available as a bundle for purchase on our website, which is hariacademycacscma.graphy.com or through our app on the Play Store. So for this, you can find the link in the description below, and these bundles are available at a nominal cost. And for those who have attended our live classes, this will be an excellent quick revision of concepts. And if you haven't, please don't worry. You can access all our recorded classes on our website. And if you have any doubts, feel free to ask. So without further delay, let's dive into the MCQs. Okay. So the question number 1, audit procedure to obtain audit evidence includes, so option A, compliance procedure, B, substantive procedure, C, both A and B, D, neither A or B. So first thing, in an audit procedures, we have discussed in our introduction class itself. So there are two main types of audit procedures used to gather audit evidence, which is nothing but sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, which is nothing but compliance procedure and substantive procedures. So first thing you need to know about what does it mean compliance procedure. So these are the procedures assess whether the company's internal controls are functioning properly and in compliance with policies, regulations, and laws. Whereas substantive procedures are designed to detect what material misstatements in the financial statements. So they include test of details, which is nothing but examining the transactions or balances, and substantive analytical procedures, which examines the relationship between financial and non-financial data. So both compliance and substantive procedures are crucial in obtaining what sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. So the right answer, which is both A and B, right? So moving to the next question, test checking requires application of. Okay, so first thing you need to know about test checking. What does it mean? Even the term test checking we have discussed in our regular classes. So the students, those who have watched our regular classes, would have already know the answer, right? So test checking is nothing, a process used by auditors to verify a sample of transactions or records instead of checking every single one, right? So it involves selecting a subset of data to draw conclusions of about the entire data sets. For example, if you have 1,000 units of inventory, so you are conducting an audit for less than 1,000 units, right? So which is the concept behind test checking is based on sampling theory. So which allows auditors to make reasonable conclusions about the accuracy or completeness of financial records without checking each item individually. So the right answer, which is sampling theory. So you may ask, what does it mean for mathematical theory? Mathematical theory is too broad and isn't specifically applied in test checking. And geometry theory, which deals with the shapes and space, which is irrelevant to auditing, right? And whereas stakeholders theory relates to corporate governance and stakeholders management and not auditing process. So the right answer, which is sampling theory. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is, which of the following is not a content of audit report as per CARO? So you might know the answer already, right? So CARO, we have discussed the 21 points in our regular classes, right? So inventory, acceptance of deposits, repayment of loan, these all comes under the audit report, content of audit report as per CARO. So which is it's an odd one now. So the recruitment of employees does not come under the CARO. Okay. So the right answer, which is recruitment of employees. So moving to the next question, which is, a cost auditor submits his report along with reservations, observations in form number CRA 3. The right answer, which is CRA 3. So you might ask, sir, what does it mean the CRA 1 and CRA 2, CRA 3 and CRA 4, right? CRA 1, which is nothing but maintenance of cost records. Whereas CRA 2, after the appointment of cost auditor, so there will be a filing of notice to the central government and which is made under the form CRA 2. And CRA 3, which is cost auditor report. CRA 4, you might ask. So after preparation of the cost audit report, which is submitted to the board of directors, so the board of directors is supposed to do what? They must file this cost audit report to the central government. So furnishing cost audit report to the central government, which is made in the form CRA 4. So the right answer, which is CRA 3. Clear? So then, secretarial audit is covered under option A, section 204, B, section 148, C, section 139, D, section 141. So the right answer, which is, you might guess, like, odd or not, if you are like section 148 for cost audit, right? 139, appointment of company auditor. 141, qualification disqualification of a company auditor. So easily you can find the answer, which is section 204, which is nothing but secretarial audit is covered under section 204. So moving to the next question, which is SA 210 stands for. SA 210 stands for what? Audit, is that audit planning, audit working paper, agreeing the terms of audit engagement, or audit documentation? So we have discussed regarding the standards on auditing in our regular classes, as I told you. Okay, so the right answer, which is agreeing the terms of audit engagement, which is nothing but SA 210. So you might ask, so what are the remaining thing? So audit planning, which comes under what? Audit planning. Please try to answer. Okay, so audit documentation, which is SA 230. Whereas audit documentation and audit working by both are one and the same, right? So SA 230. And whereas audit planning comes under what? SA 300. So in this manner, you can revise all the remaining standards too. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is internal audit is mandatory for every unlisted public company having paid up share capital of 100 crores, 50 crores, 500 crores, 200 crores. So try to answer. Even this point also we have discussed in our applicability of internal audit, right? So for this, the paid up share capital, which is greater than or equal to 50 crores. We have just simplified those document like information in a simple way. We have discussed it, right? Paid up share capital, which is greater than or equal to 50 crores, turnover greater than or equal to 200 crores, outstanding loans or borrowings greater than or equal to 100 crores, and outstanding deposits greater than or equal to 25 crores. So the right answer, which is 50 crores. Clear? So next question, auditor not to render certain act services under section. We have discussed each and every sections in our statutory audit, right? Company audit, which is nothing but, so the right answer, which is section 144. So 144 states that the auditor not to render certain services under section 144. So you can try to recollect all those 9 services I have told you in our regular classes, right? So please try to answer those services. So first service, which is accounting and bookkeeping services. Second one, internal audit. Third, design and implementation of financial information system. 4, actuarial services. Fifth one, investment advisory services. Next, investment banking services. And then rendering of outsourced financial services, management services, and any other kind of services may be prescribed by law. Okay, but whereas section 139, appointment of company auditor, 142, remuneration of company auditor, 145, having read audit report read at the AGM. So the right answer, which is B, section 144. Next question. Any casual vacancy in a government company is filled by CAG, Comptroller Auditors General, within how many days? Within 30 days. Okay. So even for the non-government company, it is done by whom? Board of Directors. That too within how many days? 30 days. Okay. So in this manner, you have to recollect each and every point. While discussing MCQ, you will cover all the concepts in our subject. Okay. So it will be acting as a quick revision for your entire subject. So you need to focus on the MCQs too. Okay. So then moving to the next question, which is, which of the following is not a part of rural self-governance system in India? So, okay. So the question here is, which is not a part of rural self-governance system in India. He is not asking which is the part of rural. You must note, if there is an MCQ and if there is a word negative term like not, you must be more careful. You might feel the answers MCQs which are given below might be relevant to the question, but he is asking odd one out, which is nothing but negative answer. Okay. So first thing you must know about what does it mean, the rural self-governance. Okay. So here in India, rural self-governance system, we have discussed in which topic under model 8, audit of different undertakings, right? Under which audit of local self-governance. We have discussed regarding the rural self-governance. So rural self-governance system is structured under a 3-tier Panchayati Raj system. Okay. So which is nothing but Gram Panchayat, which is the lowest level of rural self-governance. Okay. Then Panchayat Samiti is the middle tier, which governs a group of villages or blocks. Whereas Zilla Parishad is a district level body that oversees the Panchayat Samitis. But whereas look at this Gram Parishad, what does it mean? So Gram Parishad is not a recognized term in India's rural governance. Okay, structure. So the correct term should be likely be like Grama Sabha, okay, which is a body consisting of all the adult members of a village, but Gram Parishad itself does not exist, right? So the right answer, which is Gram Parishad, because it is not forming a part of rural self-governance system in India. Okay. So moving to the next question, each of the three parties involved in an audit does plays a role that contributes to its success. So the right answer, which is, you have to check. You may try to answer the question. The client, the auditor, the auditees, the client and the auditor, the client, the moderator and the auditee, the client, the auditor and the auditee. The right answer here, which is the client, the auditor, and the auditee. Because you must know the terms here. What does it mean, the client? The client who is responsible for preparing the financial statements and providing the necessary documentation to the auditor. So here the client is much more important, right? And as well as in order to perform the audit, the auditor is necessary, right? So, okay. So then, whereas auditee, what does it mean? The term called auditee. So which is essentially the part of the client being auditor. Usually we name it as organization or department in the question. Okay. So the right answer, which is the client, the auditor and the auditee. So moving to the next question, statutory auditor can be removed by the, so already know the answer, right? Statutory auditor can be removed by whom? Definitely by passing the resolution by shareholders in the general meeting. So a resolution passed by shareholders in a general meeting. The prior approval of the central government is also required for removing an auditor before the term ends. Okay, as per section 140, we have discussed in our regular classes. You must try to recollect all those points which we have discussed in our regular classes. So okay, here neither the audit committee nor the board of directors has the power to remove a statutory auditor without shareholder approval. So okay, they don't have like alone has the power to remove a statutory auditor without shareholder approval. So okay, so shareholders are can remove the statutory auditor. Okay. So the next question, which is a nomination and remuneration committee should have dash directors. So obviously, according to the Companies Act 2013, so the nomination and remuneration committee must consist of at least 3 directors, with all being non-executive directors, and at least half of them should be independent directors. So the right answer, which is 3. Okay. So when it comes to like numerical numbers, so you must try to like you must have like watch the classes, right? So you have to watch the classes carefully when it comes to like numbers, okay? So that you can easily remember the numbers. So moving to the next question, question number 14. Secretarial audit is applicable to the public sector company having the paid up share capital of what? So here comes the applicability we have discussed in another section 204 as in a secretarial audit, right? So the right answer, which is 50 crores. So the applicability, what does it? Every listed company, every public company having a paid up share capital of 50 crore rupees or more, or every company having a turnover of 250 crores rupees or more, or every public company having a outstanding loans or borrowings from banks or financial institutions of 100 rupees or more. Okay, so he have asked the paid up share capital, which is nothing but 50 crore. Okay, moving to the next question. Member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India are eligible to conduct secretarial audit if he or she is having a valid certificate of practice. So valid certificate of practice is required to what? To perform to conduct the secretarial audit. Then which of the following is not an audit risk? We have discussed. So option A, inherent risk, deduction risk. C, control risk. These all comes under what? Audit risk. So we have asked what? Not an audit risk, which is nothing but omission risk. So omission risk does not come under the audit risk. Okay. So then moving to the question number 17. Okay. CAAT stands for. Okay. CAAT stands for what? Option A, Conval Air Ambulance Trust, which is irrelevant in our subject. Right? There is no any term called Conval Air Ambulance Trust in our subject. Okay. So Children Air Ambulance, nowhere it is. Center for Alternatives to Animal Testing. Is there any animal testing in our audit subject? No, nothing as such, right? So the last option, which is computer assisted auditing technique. So in this manner, you can eliminate the options too. Okay. So that you can arrive at the right option. So the option D, computer assisted auditing technique. You might ask, so where it is used. If you have watched our regular classes, you will find easy to answer these questions. Okay. So while obtaining audit evidence, that too under the further audit procedures. So where the information system is computerized, then evidence may be gathered by using the computer assisted auditing techniques. Okay, it is a generalized audit software. Okay, so we have discussed in our regular classes. You might, if you have watched our regular classes, you might find easy to answer these questions. Okay. So it's nothing difficult, right? So moving to the next question, which is 18th one. Permanent audit file does not contain option A, a record of study and evaluation of internal control system. B, significant audit observations of earlier years. C, copies of management letters. D, analysis of significant ratio and trends. Here asked does not contain. So does not contains in the sense. So the copies of management letters are comes under what? Current audit file. But remaining all comes under what? Permanent audit file. So he is asking which does not contain in permanent audit file, which is nothing but copies of management letter. Okay. So moving to the next question. Question number 19. Checklist contains the instructions to be followed by whom? So the checklist, you might have like heard this term checklist, where so we have discussed it under the techniques for evaluating internal control system. What are the techniques? Narrative records, checklist, flowchart, internal control questionnaire method, right? So under this checklist, okay, contains the instruction to be followed by whom? Audit staff. So audit staff will be like performing this internal check, right? So he will be like having the checklist and he have to like engage with the department and he must tick the checklist, right? So it is done by whom? Audit staff engaged by the auditor of the organization. Okay. So next question, which is question number 20. Which of the following is not a content of audit report? So again, you must recollect the content of the audit report. So signature of the auditor comes under the content of the audit report. Date of the audit report, which also comes under the content of audit report. Attachment of audit evidence. Nowhere we have discussed regarding the attachment of audit evidence. So next one, another, there is one more option, auditor's address, which must be disclosed, right? So the right option, which is attachment of audit evidence. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is, so here the right option, which is attachment of audit evidence. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is essay 700 stands for what? Try to answer. Recollect the essays again. Okay. Whether it is, so try to answer the option A, which is forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. Okay. Option B, audit sampling. C, communicating key audit matters in the independent auditor's report. Option D, audit evidence. So the right option, which is option A. Okay. So forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements, right? So whereas audit sampling, essay 530. And communicating key audit matters in the independent audit report comes under the essay 701. And whereas audit evidence, essay 500, right? And whereas essay 705 is for modified opinion. Clear? So moving to the next question, which is internal audit is mandatory for every unlisted public company. Here, even again, the applicability is coming, right? So we're getting the applicabilities multiple times. Okay, you must have like clearly have an idea regarding the applicability. Okay, so internal audit is mandatory for every unlisted public company having paid up share capital of, already we have discussed, rupees 50 crores during the preceding financial year. Okay, so moving to the next question, which is cost audit report is submitted in the form number CRA 3. Already we know the answer, right? We have discussed it already, right? So nothing's new. Okay, so question number 24. In case of a company other than a government company, any casual vacancy in the post of auditor is to be filled by whom? By whom? Board of directors, right? Other than a government company is nothing but what? Non-government company, right? We have discussed in our regular classes. Okay. Any casual vacancy in the post of auditor is to be filled by the board of directors. What is the time limit? Within 30 days. If it is a government company, C and AG. What is the time limit again for government company? 30 days. Okay. So moving to the next question. Question number 25. A company auditor resigning from his post shall inform the same to the registrar in form. Which form? Form number ADT 3. So you might ask, so what is the form number ADT 1? ADT 1 is nothing but it is a notice. It is a form used for filing a notice of appointment. So when an auditor is appointed in an organization, so his appointment must be like informed to the registrar within 15 days from the date of appointment. So that information is furnished in the document in the form ADT 1 and it is filed with the registrar. So audit ADT 1 is used for that purpose, and ADT 2, so it is used for like it is a form used for removal of auditor. So when there is a auditor is removed, so an application is made to the central government. So for that, an application which is made under the form number ADT2. So whereas form number ADT3, so when there is a resignation of an auditor, so in the form number ADT3, the resigning auditor will indicate the reasons and the other facts. Okay, so from the date of resignation within 30 days, this form must be filed. Okay, under the ADT3 when there is a resignation of auditor. Whereas form number ADT4, so it is the form this where the report to central government, where the report is made to central government regarding any fraud by officer or employee. If an auditor finds any fraud or by officer or employee, so that will be reported to the central government using the form number ADT4. Okay. So here we have revised all these forms. Okay. So you must remind all these forms during your exam time. Okay. So that you can easily answer the questions. So moving to the next question. Which of the following is not included in the current audit file? So here you have to recollect all the informations which we have discussed, okay, regarding the current audit file. Do you think he have asked not included in the current audit file? So copies of budget will be included, internal control questionnaire will be included, current year's audit program definitely included in the current audit file, whereas memorandum and articles of associations will be included in where? Permanent audit file, right? So it does not comes under the current audit file. So the right answer, which is memorandum and articles of association. Clear? So next question, which of the following is not an external audit evidence? So here the question is, which is not an external audit evidence? So the right answer is goods received note. You might ask, sir, what is the reason behind selecting the goods received notes? So GRN, so which is nothing but goods received note, is an internal document that records the receipt of goods by the company's warehouse or department. Okay, it is generated and maintained within the organization, right? So it is it is an internal audit evidence, okay, because it is generated and maintained within the organization, so it is said to be internal audit evidence. Whereas quotations, confirmation from debtors, confirmation from bankers are all forms of external audit evidence because they come from source outside the company, providing objective and reliable information for the auditor. So here he have asked not an external audit evidence, whereas GRN is an internal audit evidence. So the right answer, which is GRN. Clear? So moving to the next question, cooling period of an individual auditor is easy question, easy questions. So if it is asked for 2 months, you will be like, it's a wonderful opportunity, right? So the cooling period of an individual auditor is what? 2 consecutive terms of 5 years each. 1 term of 4 years. 2 consecutive terms of 4 years each. No, the answer, which is 1 term of 5 years. Whoever it may be, individual auditor or like a partnership firm or whoever it may be, the cooling period which is said to be 5 years under the law, right? So if it is like the question is asked like what is the term for individual auditor, then you may like answer the question as 1 term of like 5 consecutive years. Whereas what is the term period of partnership firm? What? 2 terms of 5 consecutive years. Okay, but the cooling period is same for both auditors, individual auditor as well as partnership firm. So the right answer, which is 1 term of 5 years. Okay. So moving to the next question, which of following is not a source of dividend? Okay. So we have discussed this, right? So the source of dividend, which of the following is not a source of dividend? So the right answer here is, you may try to answer it. He is asking not a source of dividend. So you might look the option. Look at the options. Out of profits, option A, out of profits for current year, providing for depreciation for current year, right? So then option B, out of profits of any previous financial year without providing depreciation. So it's somewhat like tricky, right? Without providing depreciation, you must note this point. Okay, without providing depreciation, no one will be like issuing the dividend, right? So option C, out of current year's profit after providing for past losses. So this is right, I would say. So for source of dividend, and even this is right. And out of past reserves subject to certain conditions, even this is right. So then, which is, you have to eliminate the option. So right option, which is for this question, is option B. Okay, so dividend must be paid out of profits, and when considering profits from previous financial years, companies are generally required to account for all necessary adjustments, including depreciations. But he's saying that what? Financial year, any previous financial year, without providing depreciation, it is not possible. It is not a source of dividend, right? So here the option B refers to the payment of dividends from prior year profits without accounting for depreciation, which does not comply with the accounting principles that require accurate representation of profits. So the right option, which is option B, out of profits of any previous financial year without providing depreciation. So the reason, because without accounting for depreciations, you cannot issue what? Dividend, right? So the right answer, which is B. Okay. So moving to the next question. Question number 30. Okay. Which of the following is not a step of audit sampling? We have discussed it in our regular classes. Try to recollect stages of audit sampling. First thing, what is that? Sample design. Next one, sample size determination. Third, sample selection. The fourth, you have to perform the audit procedure. But here you have given the sample displaying. Whether we like recollect the points. Did we discuss anything regarding the sample displaying? No. So the option which is the answer, sample displaying, is not a step of audit sampling, right? So these are under the stages in audit sampling. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is 31. Which of the following is or benefits of internal financial control? So it is quite easy, right? So in our internal financial control, we have discussed it. So internal financial control, option A, improved controls over financial reporting process. Yes. So the benefits of internal financial control is it improve the controls over financial reporting process. Then trickling down of accountability to operational management. Yes, it is also covered under it, benefits. And option C, improved investor confidence in entities, operations, and financial reporting process. Yes, obviously. So the option which is D, all of the above, is the right answer. Okay. Option D is the right answer. Okay. So moving to the question number 32. Okay. The company shall inform the auditor concerned of his or its appointment and also file a notice of such appointment with the registrar within 15 days of the meeting in which the auditor is appointed in form. In which form? In form number ADT1, which we have already discussed. Where? Here we have discussed it, right? I have told you, right? So here the question is asked again. Okay. So the answer which is form number ADT1. So moving to the next one, question number 33. SA 530 stands for. SA 530 stands for what? Try to recollect those standards on auditing. Audit documentation, which is nothing but, what is it? Audit documentation. SA 230, right? Audit sampling. Audit sampling for what? 550. Then responsibility of joint auditor, 299. Okay. So then, which is agreeing the terms of audit engagement, which is nothing but SA 210. So audit sampling, which is nothing but, sorry, 530, right? Audit sampling is for 530, which we have already discussed again. Okay. So the same essays will be repeated here. Okay. So in order to keep you remember, so it will be repeated again and again. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is 34. Which of the following is not a part of temporary audit file? Easy to answer. He is asking which is not a part of temporary audit file. Audit program comes under what? Temporary audit file. Extract of minutes of board meeting comes under what? Temporary audit file. Okay. Correspondence relating to acceptance of annual reappointment comes under what? Temporary audit file. But legal and organizational structure of the company comes under what? Permanent. So it does not comes under what? Temporary audit file. So the right answer which is legal and organization structure of the company. Okay. So the next question, which is internal auditor is appointed by whom? We have discussed, right? In our internal audit topic in our regular classes, internal auditor is appointed by whom? Board of directors, right? Whereas, next question, cost audit report is submitted to board of directors in form. I have already told you cost audit report is submitted to board of directors in form. Which form? Again, the cost audit report itself, CRA3. Okay. So next question. Checklist contains the instructions to be followed by checklist. In checklist, we have discussed, right? The techniques for obtaining audit evidence. Yeah, sorry, techniques for evaluating the internal control system. We have discussed, right? Checklist. So here the checklist is contains the instruction to be followed by whom? Audit assistants. You have to, as an audit assistant, you have to carry this checklist and you have to tick the right one, right? So then, form for secretarial audit report is. Form for secretarial audit report is submitted through the form MR3. You must remain this, okay? So moving to the next question, which is question number 39. Permanent audit file contains. Here he have asked audit file contents. So far he was asking does not negative. In a negative way he was asking, but right now he is asking audit file contents. Okay, copies of management letter, audit program, analysis of transactions and balances, analysis of significant ratios and trends. So first three options you might have seen in current audit file, right? So whereas analysis of significant ratios and trends comes under permanent audit file. Okay. So the right answer, which is analysis of significant ratios and trends. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is audit of debenture is covered under section, which we have discussed, right? Section 71, which is nothing but issue of debentures, right? While discussing about the audit of some special transactions, we have discussed it in our regular classes. Okay. So please don't worry. If you haven't watched the regular classes, you can find the link in the description below and you can get the recorded classes and you can watch the recorded classes. And if you have any further doubts, you may ask in our groups too. Okay. So please watch our recorded classes too so that you will get a better clarity regarding the concepts. Okay. Overall concept. So moving to the question number 41, section 146 of the Companies Act 2013 deals with 146 he have asked. Okay. We have discussed it, right? Auditor not to render certain services, 144. Auditor to sign audit reports, 145. Auditor to attend general meeting is section 146. So the right answer, which is auditor to attend general meeting. Punishment for contravention, 147. Okay, in this manner, we will be like revising all the concepts in our MCQs. So please watch all our MCQ series, double-ended MCQ series for each and every subject so that you will get a better clarity and a better clarity regarding the concepts and a quick revision of concepts of all subjects. So please watch all our classes, okay? MCQ series. So moving to the question number 42, the dash shall act as the secretary of the audit committee. Okay, you have to try to answer these questions. Who will be acting as the secretary of the audit committee? Definitely the company secretary, right? Okay. So then cost auditor is appointed by whom? Cost auditor is appointed by board of directors on recommendation from audit committee. So if you have like watched our recorded classes regarding the cost auditor, we have told you multiple times. So here the cost auditor is appointed by board of directors on recommendations from audit committee. Okay. So next question, remuneration of auditor is covered under the following sections of Companies Act 2013. Just now we have discussed, right? Right? So in this manner, we have discussed the section 144, 145, 146, 147. Here the remuneration of auditor is section 142 because 148 is cost audit. 139 is appointment of company auditor. 143, which is rights and duties, which is nothing but powers and duties of the company auditor. So right option, which is section 142. Moving to the question number 45. Which of the following is a part of functional classification of audit? Functional classification of audit. Here you must be careful. You might like feel the answer, which is cost audit or continuous audit. But the right option, which is internal audit, because internal audit is the part of the functional classification of audit, because internal audit is auditing is an independent and objective process that helps organizations improve their operations and achieve their goals. Okay, it involves evaluating and improving the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance process. Okay. So the right option, which is internal audit. Okay. So moving to the next question, which of the following services by an auditor is not restricted under section 144 of the Companies Act 2013? If you know all those 9 services, you will be like feeling much more easy to answer these questions. Actuarial services comes under section 144, right? Rendering outsourced financial services comes under section 144. Investment advisory services comes under what? Section 144. But issuing deposit return certificate, nowhere we have discussed regarding the issuing deposit return certificate. So here it is easy to find out because elimination method. Okay. So these all comes under section 144. So this does not come under section 144. It is quite easy to answer the question, right? So moving to the next question, which is appointment of a cost auditor is communicated to the central government through, even this question we have discussed under CRA 2 form, right? Already we have discussed from in the beginning itself, CRA 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you have like noticed clearly in the beginning, you will find easy to answer this question. So moving to the question number 48, secretarial audit is applicable to the public company having turnover of at least, here again comes the applicability, what? So you have to recalculate those applicability, try to answer it. Okay. So which is the applicability, every listed company, every public company having a paid up share capital of 50 crore rupees or more, and again every public company having a turnover of 250 crore rupees or more, every company having outstanding loans or borrowings from banks or for public financial institutions of 100 crore rupees or more. So here he is asking the turnover, public company having turnover at least what? 250 crores. So here the applicability is paid up 50, turnover 250, loans 100. 50, 250, 100. Okay. 50 paid up share capital, turnover 250 crores, and again outstanding loans or borrowings from banks or financial institution, which is 100 crores. So here he is asking turnover, which is 250 crores. Okay. So moving to the next question, which is question number 49. Copies of management letters are a part of. Copies of management letters are a part of what? Just now we have discussed. So far we have been discussing the same question again and again. Current audit file. Okay. So then moving to the next question. Successfully we have like reached the 50th question. So still we have left with 150 questions. If you just revise all these questions, you will be like easily able to score the marks. Okay, in your exams. Okay. So please keep watching the sessions and okay. So 50th. An audit report with certain reservations is also known as audit report with certain reservation, which is nothing but if an auditor is having a modified opinion. So, okay. So he will be providing what? Qualified report, right? So, okay. So next question, which is 51. Dividend cannot be paid out of. Dividend cannot be paid out of current year's profit after providing depreciation and distributed profits for any previous financial year or years after providing for depreciation. Or option C, profit on revaluation of any fixed assets. Option D, money provided by the central government or a state government. So the right answer here, which is profit on revaluation on any fixed assets. So already you would have like learned in corporate accounting. So profit on revaluation of any fixed asset is not considered a non-distributable reserve. So this profit arises from adjustments in the book value of assets rather than actual profits generated from operations or cash flow. So therefore, it cannot be used for paying dividends. Okay, so the right answer, which is profit on revaluation of any fixed assets. So moving to the next question, which is 52. If the debentures are issued as collateral security either to banks or creditors, the auditor needs to ensure that such issue is approved by whom? Definitely board of directors. Okay. So question number 53. As per XQC, standard quality control 1, audit working paper should be retained for a period of, in audit working paper, audit documentation, we have discussed, right? So audit working paper should be retained for a period of how many years? As per XQC 1, it is set by whom? ICA. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has prescribed that the members have to retain the working papers for a period of 7 years as per SQC 1. Okay. So just give me a second. 7 years. Okay. So moving to the next question, 54. Current audit file contains articles of association, memorandum of association. It is under permanent audit file. Analysis of significant ratio and trends, permanent audit file. Notes regarding significant accounting policies, it is also permanent audit file. Then audit program. Audit program comes under what? Current audit file. Clear? So then, question number 55. Form for maintenance of cost records of a company is, in the beginning itself, we have discussed in our regular classes, CRA1, right? Maintenance of cost records of a company. Moving to the question number 56. Statutory auditor is appointed by the shareholders in the, so here the question, you guys might try to answer the question as EGM, extraordinary general meeting. So extraordinary general meeting arises when the board of directors or C&AG, when they are like, when they haven't applied the auditor. So they are supposed to appoint the auditor, right? If they haven't appointed the auditor in the first time appointment, then it is appointed by the shareholders. Auditor is appointed by the shareholders in the extraordinary general meeting. But in general, okay, statutory auditor is appointed by the shareholders. Shareholders, where they will be appointing? In the general meeting. So if the question specifies it is the first time appointment, you might answer the question. The answer would be EGM. Okay. Though they didn't specify, you have to answer the question general meeting. The answer is general meeting. So moving to the question number 57. An individual auditor who has completed his term shall not be eligible for reappointment as an auditor in the same company for next how many years? 5 years, which is nothing but the cooling period. Okay, it is applicable for both individual auditor as well as the auditing firm. Okay, so question number 58. Proving the truth means vouching of expenses, not payment, assets and liabilities. Okay, so in auditing, we would have discussed, right? What does it mean, the term called vouching? Okay, so in auditing, vouching refers to verifying the accuracy of financial transactions by examining what? Supporting documents. And when talking about the proving the truth, it essentially means confirming the existence and correctness of recorded liabilities. So option D is the most accurate answer. Okay, so moving to the question number 59. Internal control questionnaire contains the questions which need to be followed by whom? Definitely employee of the organization. So asking questions to various people at different levels in the organizations, the questionnaire is in a pre-designed format to ensure collection of complete and all relevant information. So the questions are formed in a manner that would facilitate obtaining full information through answers in yes or no. Okay, whereby the answers yes is satisfactory, whereas the answer no is appear to indicate a weakness. Okay, so it is done by whom? Need to be followed by the employee of the organization. Okay, so moving to the question number 60. Declaration of dividend is covered under section dash of the Companies Act 2013. We have discussed it 123. Okay, so then question number 61. An auditor should submit a disclaimer of opinion when option A, he is satisfied with the truth and fairness. Disclaimer of opinion. Try to recollect. I have told you in what case you will be like providing disclaimer of opinion. Some material information is not available. If you are unable to obtain sufficient or sufficient appropriate audit evidence, you will be like disclosing what? Some material information is not available, which means you will be disclosing what? Disclaimer of opinion. Okay. So moving to the question number 62. An audit committee should have a minimum of dash number of directors. 3. You have already know that, right? So just give me a second. Just 3. The right answer which is 3. Okay. So the audit committee shall consist of a minimum of 3 directors with independent directors forming a majority. Moreover, majority of the members of the audit committee, including its chairpersons, shall be persons with ability to read and understand the financial statement. Okay. So moving to the question number 63. Unpaid dividend standing at the credit of unpaid dividend account should be transferred to investor education and production fund after how many years? How many years? 7 years of its remaining period. Okay. So it is discussed under the audit of some special transactions, that too payment of dividend and that too under the unpaid dividend. All shares in respect of which dividend has not been paid or claimed for 7 consecutive years or more shall be transferred by the company in the name of the investor education and protection fund along with a statement containing details. Okay. So which we have discussed under the audit of some special transactions. Clear? So moving to the question number 64. Which of the following services cannot be rendered by an auditor as per Companies Act 2013? Services cannot be rendered. 144. Try to recollect. What? Providing investment advisory services. It's like already elimination method. If you eliminate, vouching is done by the auditor, verification of assets and liabilities done by the auditor, issuing certificates on relevant matter is done by the auditor. So then what is not done by the auditor? Providing investment advisory services, which we have discussed under the section 144. Certain services not to be rendered by the auditor. Clear? So moving to the question number 65. Various types of quality audits are. Quality audit types are. Here you might find difficult to answer, right? So there are multiple types of quality audits. Okay, each focusing on different aspects of organization's operations. So whereas product audit, so this type of audit focuses on verifying that a product meets specified quality criteria and it ensures the final product conforms to consumer or regulatory standards. Okay, so whereas management audit assesses whether the organization's quality management system like ISO, we used to say that 9001 is effective in achieving its objective and maintaining quality standards. But whereas registration, which is nothing but certificate audit, so this is often conducted by the external auditors, okay, to determine if an organization complies with the standards required for certification, like ISO certification, for example. So since all these types of audits listed are valid, so the correct answer, which is all of the above, A, B, C. This all comes under the quality audits. Clear? So moving to the question number 66, when the auditor is an employee of an organization being audited, okay, the audit is classified as a dash. If you are being an auditor of an organization and if you are being an employee, then it is said to be internal audit, right? Internal quality auditing. Quality audit. So moving to the question number 67. The most comprehensive type of audit is the, okay, so the most comprehensive type of audit is the dash system audit, which examines suitability and effectiveness of the system as a whole. So here, the answer which is B, quality, because a quality system audit is the most comprehensive type of audit because it examines the entire management system, processes and procedures to ensure they are suitable and it is effective and aligned with the organization's quality objectives. Okay, so this type of audit focuses on how well the system functions to maintain quality standards across the organizations. So, okay, so whereas quantity audit is not a recognized term in auditing. Okay, and preliminary audit refers to the initial assessment and it's not comprehensive. It is an initial assessment. And sequential audit refers to audits conducted in stages or steps. Okay, but not necessarily as a comprehensive complete system audit. Okay, so the right answer which is quality. Okay, quality system audit. Okay, moving to the question number 68. Dash is a method of misappropriation of cash by which the past defalcations are covered up by the current receipts. So option A error, option A fraud, B error, C lapping, D forensic audit. The answer which is nothing but lapping. So defalcations, which is nothing but it's like hiding something. Okay, so lapping is a fraudulent accounting techniques that occurs where an employee alters the financial records to hide cash stolen from the company. Okay. So lapping is a type of fraud. Okay. So it's a method of misappropriation of cash by which the past defalcations are covered up by the current receipts. So moving to the question number 16, an audit which is conducted considering the particular area of accounting which the owner thinks essentially is known as partial audit, particular thing, right? Particular area. He will be like, if you are having an entire audit, if you are just focusing on the particular area, it's a partial audit. Okay. So moving to the question number 17, the Companies Act 1913 used the term true and fair. Option A fair, B true, C false, D correct. So earlier it was true and correct. Now that is rectified, like just revised to be true and fair as per the Companies Act 2013. So earlier it was true and correct. Okay. So question number 71. Dash is conducted with a particular object in view to know financial position, earning capacity, proof for fraud, invest capital, etc. Which is what process it is? Investigation, not auditing. Okay, to know financial position, earning capacity, proof fraud. Here, the term proof fraud is more than sufficient to state the answer, which is investigation, because investigation is a detailed examination that is carried out with a specific purpose, such as determining the financial position, detecting fraud, or evaluating the company's earning capacity. It is more focused than a general audit or accounting process. Okay, so question number 72, misappropriation of a good is a obviously a fraud, right? So clerical error or error of principal compensatory error does not come under the misappropriation of a good, right? Okay, so misappropriation of good refers to the illegal or unauthorized use or theft of goods, we may call it, right? So which constitutes what? Fraud. So it is an intentional act, right? So the right answer, which is fraud. Okay. So moving to the question number 73. Dash is a relative term. Obviously, materiality. Already we know that we have discussed, right? So moving to the question number 74. Chartered accountants have to retain the working papers for working papers, which is nothing but audit documentations as per ICA, standard quality 1, 7 years. So moving to the question number 75. SA 230 stands for definitely the audit documentation, right? Audit documentation, right? Response 299, 210. Okay. Quality, which is, but whereas when it comes to quality control for an audit of financial statement, it is 220. Okay. So the right answer, which is SA 230. So SA 300 stands for audit planning, which we have already discussed. Audit planning, SA 530. Audit documentation, 230. Audit planning, which is SA 300. Okay. Objective of an audit is to formulate an overall opinion on financial statement, not cost statement or books of accounts. So objective of an audit is to formulate an overall opinion on the financial statement. Already we have introduction itself we have discussed. So the overall objective is for performing an audit is to form an opinion on the financial statement. So moving to the question number 78, the purpose of internal audit is to protect the internal audit. For what purpose? Protect the assets. So next question number 17, the purpose of internal audit is to detect the error in the accounting records. Okay. So moving to the question number 80, the purpose of internal audit is to determine liabilities of whom? We have discussed it, right? Okay. So you have to try to answer this question at least. The purpose of internal audit is to determine liabilities of whom? Definitely it is employees, none other than employees. Okay. So question number 81, the assets protection is possible through. So we have that earlier we have discussed the same question. It is repeated in a different way, right? Internal audit. So the function of internal audit is meant for, here the term you might like it is like unfamiliar, or the term called death. Death is nothing but we used to call it as lack of something. Okay. So here the lack of. So lack, okay, lack of staff, or for what function your function of internal audit is lack of staff, or lack of time, or the lack of time and funds, or lack of funds. So the right answer, which is lack of staff, we might call it as, but the right answer, the perfect suitable answer, which is death of time and funds. But when it comes to our subject, it is nothing but in order to, the internal audit main function is to improve the efficiency or overall operational efficiency. So when there is a particular, so it is the overall operational efficiency can be increased by implementing a strong internal control system as well as in the employees itself. So here we have the right answer as per the question, which is dearth of staff itself. Okay, which means you have to improve the overall efficiency of the employees. Then only you can improve the organizations. Okay. So question number 80, the review of internal control system is very important for the auditor, as the effectiveness of internal control system will determine the extent of checking to be done by whom? Extent of checking to be done by whom? Internal control system. Effectiveness of internal control system is done by the whom? The auditor. If you give that job to accountant or management, they may what they might manipulate, right? So it is done by the effectiveness of internal control system. It will be checked by whom? Auditor. So next, moving to the question number 84, accounting control. Accounting control. Accounting control refers to what? Financial control. Okay. Accounting control refers to the methods and procedures used to ensure the accuracy and reliability of financial records and safeguard assets. So this type of control is directly related to the financial controls. So as it involves overseeing financial transactions and ensuring that they are recorded correctly and comply with regulations. So the right answer, which is financial control. So moving to the question number 85, does allocation of duties among the staff in such a way that it eliminates the chances of any duplicity of work? We have discussed in by considering an example, interesting example, right, for this. So the right answer, which is internal check. So internal check refers to the division of tasks and duties among staff in such a way that no single person is responsible for entire transactions or process. Like we took an example in a blank, there will be like a check clearing. While clearing of check, there will be multiple persons who will be checking of work of others, right? So okay, this method helps. So this internal check method helps prevent errors or fraud by ensuring that each person's work is checked by another. So that's reducing the chances of duplicity or manipulation. So okay, so the right answer, which is internal check. So moving to the question number 86, a cost auditor submits his report to whom? Cost auditor, board of directors. Okay, so cost auditor shall forward his duly signed report to the board of directors of the company within a period of 180 days from the closure of the financial year to which the report relates. Okay, so moving to the question number 87, the first auditor of a company is appointed by whom? The first auditor of the company, here nowhere it is mentioned government company or non-government company. You might assume it as a non-government company. The first auditor is board of directors. Okay, so which of the following condition is not mandatory while utilizing past reserves for payment of dividend? Again, this term dividend, it's coming again and again. So the option is the rate of dividend shall not exceed the average of rates in 3 immediately preceding years. So then total amount to be withdrawn shall not exceed 1/10 of the sum of its paid up share capital and free reserves. Option C, after withdrawal, the balance of reserves shall not fall below 15% of its paid up share capital. Option D, the company must obtain prior approval from the central government in this regard. So the right answer, which is the company must obtain prior approval from the central government in this regard, because it is not mandatory while utilizing the past reserves. So if an organization is utilizing its past reserves for payment of dividend, so they need not ask any obtain a prior approval from central government. Okay, so the right answer, which is D. Okay, so moving to the question number 18.9. Which of the following is not the duty of the company auditor as per section 143 of Companies Act? So in our powers and duties, we have discussed in our regular classes, right? Duty to make inquiries of duty. Okay, duty to prepare financial statements. So this option, it is the duty of management, right? So still, the right answer would be duty to prepare financial statements. So remaining two option we'll look. Okay. So duty to give reasons for negative reporting, it is managed, it is done by auditor. Duty to comply with the directors of CH, it is also done by auditor, right? It is a duty. These three are duties to be duties of company auditor. But when it comes to duty of preparing the financial statement, it is done by whom? Management. So it is not the duty of auditor. Okay. So moving to the question number 19, which of the following is the method of obtaining audit evidence? Inspection, observation, analytical review, all these comes under what? Method obtaining audit evidence. What are the remaining two methods? Missed here, inquiry and confirmation. And again, computation. So these are the 5 method to obtain audit evidence. So all of the above is the right answer. Moving to the question number 91. An auditor shall submit disclaimer of opinion when the financial statement exhibits true and fair view. So will you be expressing an Disclaimer of opinion: when there is a financial statement exhibits true and fair view? No. The financial statements are partially correct. The financial statements are incomplete. The financial statements are unavailable. So I have told you, when the informations are unavailable to you, which means unable to obtain sufficient or appropriate audit evidence, you will be providing what? Disclaimer opinion. Okay. So moving to the question number 92, the first auditor of government company is appointed by obviously CNAG. We have discussed, right? Here, he have specifically mentioned it is government company. So moving to the question number 93, which of the following is not a part of urban self-governance system in India? Urban self-governance system in India. So it is also which we have discussed, right? In our local self-governance audit of different undertakings. So here he must know what is meant by that urban self-governance. So he is asking not a part. Okay. So India's urban self-governance system includes various bodies responsible for managing urban areas. So here the term municipal corporation is responsible for governing large urban areas such as cities with populations over a certain threshold. Example, 1 million people. Okay. So whereas municipality, this is the governing body, okay, for smaller urban areas. Whereas town panchayat is typically found in transitional areas that are becoming urban, from rural, like semi-rural to semi-urban, used to call it, right? So from there, it is becoming an urban, managing smaller town or areas in transition from rural to urban status. So that is said to be town panchayat. But whereas municipal society, what about the whereas municipal society? So municipal society is not an officially recognized entity in the urban self governance. Okay. So the right answer it is municipal society. Okay, it is not a part of urban self-governance. Okay, question number 94. Auditor in a cooperative society is appointed by the registrar. Registrar, we have discussed under the audit of different undertakings under cooperative society. Okay, audit documentation is covered by SA 230. Okay, which of the following is not an example of internal audit evidence? Internal audit evidence. So he is asking, stating that internal audit evidence. So credit note and debit note is within the organization, sales invoices within the organization, GRN is also within the organization. So these three are said to be internal audit evidence. But he is asking not an example, then quotations. So quotations are provided by whom? By the buyer, right? Right? They will be issuing the quotations. Okay, you will be like issuing the quotation somewhere, sir, right? So the right answer which is quotations. So question number 97, no audit firm shall be appointed or reappointed as an auditor for more than dash terms of dash consecutive years. It's quite important. It's been asked for multiple times. He's asking audit firm, not auditor. Audit firm means how many terms? 2 terms of 5 consecutive years. The right answer which is 2 terms of 5 consecutive years. So moving to the question number 98. Which of the following is not a basic element of audit report as per SA 700? Basic element of audit report. So here it all comes under auditor's opinion comes under the SA 700. Basis of opinion also, key audit matters also. We have discussed under the content of the audit report, right? So but whereas report of accrual assumptions, it comes under what? So it comes under the accounting processes, not auditing, right? So it is the option D is the answer, because it is not a basic element of audit report as per SA 700. So question number 99, cost audit is covered under section 148, 139 appointment, 20 secretarial audit. So moving to the question number 100. According to Central Cooperative Societies Act, dash of the profits of cooperative society should be transferred to reserve fund before distribution of dividend or payment of bonus to its members. 25%, right? So, but with a special permission from the registrar, they can transfer 10%, right? According to the Central Cooperative Societies Act, 25% of the profits of cooperative society should be transferred to the reserve fund before distribution of dividend or payment of bonus to its member. But however, the registrar may, having regard to the financial position of the society, reduce the percentage of profits to be transferred to the reserve fund. But in any case, he cannot reduce it to less than 100% of the profits of the society, which means with the permission of the registrar, you can transfer up to the 10%. But generally, the profits before it's to be distributed, 25% of the profits must be transferred to the reserve fund. Okay, clear? So with this, we have completed the 100 questions. So still we have just left with the 100 questions in the same enthusiasm. We'll be finishing the remaining 100 questions too. Okay. So moving to the question number 101. Okay. So we are here still left with just 100 more questions. So we'll finish it off. Okay. So which of the following is not an advantage of audit? So option A, it provides high quality financial information. Yes, it's absolutely it's an advantage, right? So it acts as a moral check on the employees. It's also an advantage, and it helps in safeguarding interest of shareholders. So it is also an advantage, but it enhances risk of management bias. So here Increasing the risk of management bias is not an advantage of an audit. So instead, an audit helps reduce the management bias and ensures more reliable financial information. So here the answer, which is option C, is not an advantage of audit. So moving to the question number 102, which of the following is not true about an assurance engagement? Okay, so first option relates to providing assurance about historical financial information only. So here the question is not true about an assurance engagement. So he is asking not true. Okay. So option A, it relates to providing assurance about historical information, financial information only. Option B, the practitioner obtains sufficient appropriate evidence. So it's true. Okay. So there is some information to be examined by practitioner. It is also true. A written assurance report in appropriate form is issued by a practitioner. It is also true. So the term here, which is not true about an assurance management, is it relates to providing assurance about historical financial information only. So the right option, which is option A, which is not true about an assurance engagement. So moving to the question number 103, which of the following is true about engagement standards? Okay, so here the engagement standards are designed to provide guidelines and a framework for practitioners, like the practitioner in the sense auditors, accountants, or other assurance providers, to ensure they follow consistent procedures and maintain a high level of quality in their work. Right? So here option A, engagement standards ensure proper rights to practitioners in course of performance of their duties. So it's not true, right? So engagement standards ensure preparation and presentation of financial statement in a standardized manner. It's also not true. But whereas engagement standards ensure uniformity by practitioners in course of performance of their duties. So which is the accurate answer. Okay. So then engagement standards ensure savings in resource of clients. Though that's also irrelevant, right? So moving to the question number 104. Okay. Consider following statements in relation to limited assurance engagement. Statement 1, limited assurance engagement. Okay. So it involves, statement 1, it involves obtaining sufficient appropriate evidence to draw reasonable conclusions. Then statement 2, review of interim financial information of a company is an example of limited. Yes, already while discussing the classification of audit, limited review we have discussed, right? So here the statement 1 is incorrect as per the limited assurance and statement 2 is correct. So which is option D. Okay. So moving to the question number 105. Which of the following is true about standards on auditing? Okay. Which of the following is true about standards on auditing? So these deal mainly with voluntary responsibility of auditors. No. These deal mainly with mandatory responsibility of auditors. Okay, it's a mandatory responsibility of auditors. So their sole purpose is to help government authorities. No, these deal mainly in carrying out audit according to legal provisions. No. So here the option B is the right answer because it deal mainly with mandatory responsibility of auditors. Next, question number 106. Which of the following is not considered in planning and audit generally? Okay. So, which of the following is not considered in planning and audit generally? Option A, understanding of legal and regulatory framework of an entry. It is required for audit planning, right? So, it's a right one, but he is asking not considered. So, the option B, need to consider determination of materiality. It is also considered for audit planning. Then, evaluating audit evidence. So, here the option which is evaluating audit evidence is not, it is after the audit planning, right? So, it's not prior to the audit planning. So, it is not considered as a planning and audit generally. Okay. So moving to the question number 107. Which of the following is true about audit plan? Okay. Once an audit plan has been finalized for an engagement, changes cannot be made to it. Okay. He's asking which is true about. It is not true. It can be changed. Then option B, audit help plans include scope, timing, and direction of. It is also true about audit plan. Then option C, changes in audit plan cannot lead to change in audit strategy, which is also not true. But he's asking what is true about audit plan. So audit plan has to be documented by auditor, which is true, right? So option D is the right answer. Question number 108. Which of the following is not included in an audit program normally? Audit program in which it is not included, right? So he's again asking which is not included. Audit program includes extent of checking, date of checking, nature or type of procedure, but planning of risk assessment procedure is not in the audit program. Okay. So option D is the right answer. So moving to the 109. Okay, which of the following is not an advantage of audit program? So it acts as a guide for audit of coming years. It fixes responsibility of assistants. It serves as a shelter for assistants. So option D, it serves as a proof of work done by auditor. So in our regular classes, we have discussed regarding these advantages of audit program. We discussed all these 3 points except this. It serves as a shelter for assistance, right? So option C is the right answer. Question number 110. Which of the following is most important principle for formulating an audit plan? So in order to formulate the audit plan, what is the most important principle? Gaining knowledge of client's workforce, gaining knowledge of client business, gaining knowledge of client's vendors, gaining knowledge of tax laws and applicable to client. So here the answer which is you have to gain the knowledge of client's business, not workforce or vendors. You have to know that gain the knowledge of client's business. Then only you can perform what audit. Then only you can prepare what audit plan, and then only you can generate what audit strategy. So to the continuation, you can prepare the audit program accordingly. So right. So moving to the question 111, which of the following is true regarding materiality? Which of the following is true regarding materiality? It is the option which is D. It is not always a matter of size, because materiality, as we have discussed in our regular classes, materiality refers to the significance of an item or misstatement in the financial statements, right? So it is determined based on the potential impact that an omission or misstatement might have on the decisions of users of financial statements. So here the option A is incorrect, because it is affected by nature of an item is incorrect, because materiality can be affected by the nature of an item. Okay, even small item could be material if it relates to fraud or compliance with law, right? Already we have discussed this option, I think, right? So it is repeating again. So option D is the right answer. It is not always a matter of relative size. Question number 112. The operations of a company are automated substantially. Which of the following statement is not most appropriate in this respect? So here the answer which is, it results in complex business environment, because automation can introduce complexity in process, because technology integration and the need for specialized knowledge. So these options recognizes that while operations may become streamlined, the overall environment can become what more complex due to dependencies of technology. So here the option E is correct, because it results in complex business environment. Okay, so moving to the question number 113. Who is responsible for maintaining effective internal financial control? Who is responsible here? Effective internal financial control is done by whom? Management. We have discussed in our classes, right? Internal financial controls is managed by whom? Maintained effectively by whom? Management, not the auditor. Okay. So moving to the question number 114. Which of the following is not one of functions of internal auditor of an organization? Think and try to answer the question, right? It's quite easy, right? Which of the following is not one of functions of internal audit? He's asked, stating not a function of internal auditor of an organization. So I think performing assurance activities are function of an internal auditor. Then performing consulting activities to improve governance of our organization also a function of internal auditor. Performing risk management activities also a function of internal auditor. But which is not a function is expressing independent opinion on financial statements of organization. It is made under what? Statutory audit. So it is not a function. So option D is the right answer. So moving to the question number 115. Okay. An auditor finds during course of an audit that the entity has entered into many related party transactions. I hope you know what does it mean, the related party transactions. I have to like lot of time to explain what does it mean, the related party transactions, in our regular classes. We have decoded the term, right? So it's nothing but simple. If there is a company and it is having any subsidiary company, joint venture, or like holding company, parent company, associate company, so those are said to be, and directors, they are said to be related party transactions. If an auditor finds during course of an audit that the entity has entered into many related, so if there is any subsidiary company, associate company, or directors, if the organization is having like so many transactions with those related parties, so which of the following statement is true, he's asking. Okay, so the option is, the risk that management may override controls in respect of related transaction is lower. Okay, so option A is also not correct, right? So the option B, the risk that management may override controls in respect of related party transaction is higher. Yes, if there is any huge related party transactions, that management may override controls, right? So option B is the right. So still we have the two more options. There is no effect on the risk of, how come you say that there is no effect on the risk that management may override? It cannot be said like that, right? Risk of overriding of controls by management has no relation. It has the relation. It have the relationship. So option B is the accurate answer. So moving to the question number 116, which of the following is not an objective of company's policies for ensuring internal financial control? So, okay, he's asking again, not an objective, but efficient conduct of business is an objective. Okay, safeguarding of assets is an objective. Prevention and detection of frauds and errors is an objective. And assessing audit risk is not an objective, right? So option D is the right answer. So moving to the question number 117, which of the following is not an advantage of statistical sampling? Statistical sampling. Here the Statistical sampling method is used in auditing and research that offers various advantages, like including sample size does not increase in proportion to the size of the area tested. Okay, because this is true for statistical sampling, the sample size can remain relatively same, small, even as the population increases. But whereas, look at the options. Okay, sample size does not increase in proportion or to size of area tested, right? So that is being an advantage. Sample selection is more objective. That is also right. It is an advantage. It provides a means of deriving a calculated risk and corresponding precision. It is also a right option because it provides a means of deriving a calculated risk with corresponding precision, which means statistical sampling allows auditor to quantify the risk associated with their sample and provides a level of precision in their findings. Okay, so but look at the option D. Okay, in case of verifying complaints with specific legal requirements, it is suitable. How come? It is not an advantage, right? So option D is the right option. Then moving to the question number 118, which of the following statement is appropriately suited to preparation of audit documentation? So audit documentation has to be prepared simultaneously as audit progress. That is the right option. So remaining, we have three more options. Let's take a look. Audit documentation has to be prepared 60 days after the date of audit report, which is incorrect, right? It should be prepared simultaneously as audit progress. And again, audit documentation has to be prepared when information is required by regulator. No, it is prepared simultaneously as audit progresses. Audit documentation has to be prepared 60 days. No. Okay, so option A is the right answer. So moving to the question number 119, audit documentation is owned by whom? Audit documentation owned by auditor. Okay, so question number 120, which of the following is false in relation to audit documentation when an external auditor relies upon the work of internal auditor? So here the question is, when an external auditor relies upon work of internal auditor, which of the following is false in relation to audit documentation? So here there are four options: evaluation of objectivity and competence of internal auditor. Okay, so evaluation of objectivity and competence of internal auditor has to be documented. Nature of work used and reason for relying upon work used forms part of documentation. So it is also not false. It is a true statements. Then documentation on whether quality control is exercised in internal audit work forms part of audit documentation. It is also true. But whereas documentation on what specific recommendations were given by internal auditor for risk assessment to external auditor forms part of audit documentation. No, all these things forms part of, but not exclusive this. So option D is the right option here. It is false in relation to audit documentation when an external auditor relies upon work on internal auditor. So moving to the question 121, while expressing an unmodified opinion on financial statements, the auditor shall not use which of the following phrases? So present fairly in all material aspects. So we are stating here unmodified opinion. Yes, it's also right. Give you a true and fair way. It's also right. Right. So moving to the next one is asking that the auditor shall not use. So with the foregoing explanation. So foregoing explanation is not required, right? So option C is the not used. Okay, it's a phrase which is not used. Okay, so option C is the right answer. So moving to the question number 122, dash is a paragraph included in the auditor reports. So listen carefully. Included in the paragraph included in the auditor report that refers to a matter appropriately presented or disclosed in the financial statement that in the auditor's judgment is of such importance that it is fundamental to the user's understanding of the financial statements. We have told you multiple times. So it is discussed under the heading emphasis of matter paragraph, right? So moving to the question 123 statement 1. There are two statements here. Okay, we have to state which is correct, which is incorrect. So there are four options given here. So let's take a look at the statement 1. Communicating key audit matter in the auditor's report constitutes a substitute for disclosure in the financial statements. Whereas statement 2, instead of modifying an opinion in accordance with SA 70, the statutory auditor can use key audit matter graph in the audit report with an unmodified opinion. How come? If there is a modifying opinion, you must stay what? You must state at what? You must give a modified opinion. So the option 1, communicating key audit matter in the auditor report constitute a substitute for disclosure. No, that is not a substitute for disclosure, right? So both of the statement is, none of the statement is correct. Okay, we have to look for option D is the correct option. Okay, moving to the question number 124. Which of the following is not correct? Okay, he has given essays. You have to look for the essays, the relevant statement is given or not, right? Subject. Essay 700. What is it? Forming an opinion. That is also correct. SA 701, key audit matters in independence. That's also right. So SA 705, comparative information, corresponding figures and corresponding comparative financial. No, actually SA 70 is nothing but modifications to the opinion in independent auditor's report. So this is SA 705. So because it is a modified opinion, right? We have discussed, right? Modified opinion comes under the SA 705. How come comparative information? So option C is the right answer because it is not correct. So moving to the question number 125. Responsibilities of joint auditors are governed by obviously SA 229 because SA 200 what does it says? Overall objectives of the independent auditor. Whereas 230 audit documentation. So next, moving to the question number 126, an LLP complains returns with an LLP we have discussed with the register of companies. Okay, right? So moving to the question number 127. While auditing advances of a bank as statutory auditor, while auditing advances of a bank as a statutory auditor, which of the following is not a likely concern of auditor? Okay, option A, appropriate documentation of advances. So it is a concern of an auditor, right? So he is asking not a likely concern. Option B, ensuring budgeted targets of advances given by bank manager. How come? How come like ensuring budgeted targets of advances is given by the bank management is not a concern for the auditor? Because the auditor role is not to assess whether the bank has met its business or budget targets, but rather to ensure that advances are properly documented, sanctioned, and monitored according to the applicable rules and regulations. So here the option B is not a likely concern of auditor. Okay. So you can even take a look at remaining two options that may be like complaints of sanctioned terms, you must consider it as a concern. Operations in advance accounts, you must consider it. So moving to the question number 128. Okay, which of the following statement is true regarding appointment of statutory branch auditor of a nationalized bank, which we have discussed? The appointment is made by whom? Through board of directors and with the prior approval by the of RBA, right? So you have to look for the board of directors and prior approval of RBA. Where it is first option, which is board of director, but prior approval central, which is not correct, incorrect. Appointment is made by the bank acting through its board of directors with prior approval of RBA, which is right, right? So moving to the question number 129, identify the correct statement. Income from non-performing asset. Okay, income from non-performing asset is recognized on accrual basis. So correct statement he is asking. So whereas income from non-performing asset is recognized on accrual basis. No, it's not right. So income from non-performing asset is never recognized. How come? It is recognized. Okay, so which is also incorrect. Income from non-performing assets is recognized on basis of actual recovery. That's the perfect answer. Okay, I'll explain, right? So when you, if you take a look at in banking and financial regulations, non-performing assets, which is nothing like we used to say that at NPAs refers to the loans or advances for which the borrower has stopped making, for which the borrower has stopped making interest or principal repayments for a certain period of time. So that is right. So for NPAs, income is not recognized on an accrual basis, but it is only recorded when it is actually recovered, right? So here the option A, B, and D are incorrect. So it is the right option, which is C. Okay, moving to the question number 130. Okay, dash along with other disciplines such as accounting and law equips you with all the knowledge that is required to enter into auditing as a profession. Obviously, it is a question number 130, the answer which is auditing, right? So moving to the question number 131, as per SA 200, overall objectives of the independent auditor is in conducting an audit of financial statement. The overall objectives of the auditor are to obtain reasonable insurance, to report on the financial statements, to both A and B, right? These are the right options. So to obtain absolute assurance, nowhere in auditing you can provide absolute assurance. So it is incorrect. So option C is the right option. Okay. So moving to the question number 132. The auditor's dash safeguards the auditor's ability to form an audit opinion without being affected by any influence. Obviously, any influence in the sense you must not be affected by any influence means you must be an independent auditor. Okay. So answer is 134. 132. The answer is independence. So moving to the question number 133. Which of the following is the responsibility of the auditor? So here, what are the responsibilities? Preparation and presentation of financial statement account. It is a management responsibility. Design, implementation, and maintenance of internal controls. It is also management. Express an opinion on a financial statement. Obviously, this is the right option. To obtain limited assurance is not. So the perfect answer is express an opinion on the financial statement. Moving to the question 134. Dash sets the scope, timing, and direction of the audit and guides the development of the more detailed audit plan. overall audit strategy, which we have discussed in under the audit strategy topic, right? So moving to the question 135, planning is dash process of an audit that often begins shortly after the completion of the previous audit and continues until the completion of the current audit engagement. Answer which is continuous audit, because continuous process of an audit begins shortly after the completion of the previous audit and continues until the completion of the current audit program. So continuous process of audit is the right answer, right? So moving to the question 136, planning an audit involves establishing the overall audit strategy for the engagement and developing an audit plan. That's the right answer. So we'll take a look at remaining three options. Establishing the overall audit plan for the engagement, developing an audit strategy. Establishing the overall audit plan for the engagement, developing an audit strategy. So with these three answers, so the dominating which is establishing the overall audit strategy. So option A is the right answer. Okay, moving to the question number 137, essay 320 on materiality. Materiality in planning and performing an audit requires that an auditor, essay 320, which is materiality in planning and performing an audit requires that an auditor should not consider materiality. How come? How come an auditor will not consider materiality? So option A is wrong answer. Should consider materiality and relationship with the audit risk while conducting an audit, right? That is the right answer. We'll take it. Should not consider materiality. That is a wrong answer. Should consider materiality, okay, but need not consider its relation with the. How come? You should consider with the audit risk, right? So we have discussed the audit risk where materiality is the important concept. Okay. So moving to the question 138. Once the overall audit strategy has been established, DAS can be developed to address the various matters identified in the overall audit strategy, taking into account the need to achieve the audit objectives through the efficient use of auditor resource, which is nothing but, so the answer, which is nothing but what? Try to answer the question. So it's quite easy, right? Which is nothing but your audit plan. We have discussed so many times. So audit plan can be developed to address the various matters, right? So moving to the question 139, which of the following is not correct? Essay 230 audit documents, that's right. Essay final audit evidence. Essay 5 or 5. Is that written representation? No, it's external confirmation. So option C is the right option because it is not correct. It is incorrect. So moving to the question 140, if the auditor is unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the opening balance, the auditor shall express what opinion? Obviously, you must state the right answer. Which opinion he will be like providing? Obviously, qualified opinion or a disclaimer of opinion as appropriate in accordance with the SA 705. Because when you are unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, we discussed two cases, which is one for a qualified opinion and one for a disclaimer of opinion, because he didn't give the material or non-pervasive regarding, right? So we must consider the option C. Question 141, auditor's judgment as to sufficiency may be affected by the factors such as materiality, yes. Risk of material misstatement, yes. Size and characteristics of the publishing, yes. So option is answer which is all of the above. Audit risk. Next question. Audit risk is a function of the risk of material misstatement and deduction risk, because risk of material misstatement in which it comes under risk, inherent risk and control risk. Okay. So question 143. Controls can be related to an assertion. Controls can be related to an assertion directly, indirectly, or directly or indirectly, depends on the situation, because it is directly or indirectly. Because controls in an audit refers to the process and procedures that help ensure the integrity of financial reporting and the safeguarding of assets, right? So these controls can be related to assertions, claims made by the management about the financial statements, either directly or indirectly. So here the direct relationship refers to some controls are specifically designed to address certain assertions, such as ensuring completeness or accuracy in financial reporting, whereas indirect relationship nothing but other controls might not directly address an assertion but still support its accuracy, such as broader controls related to overall governance or risk management. So here the option which is directly or indirectly, right? So moving to the question 144, risk of material misstatement may be defined as the risk what? That the financial statements are materially misstated after audit? No. That the financial statements are materially misstated during an audit? No. That the financial statements are materially misstated prior to the audit. So because prior to the audit only the financial statements are misstated, right? Materially misstated, right? So option C is the right option. Moving to the question 145, essay 315 establishes requirements and provides guidelines on identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement of what? What? At the financial statement and assertion level, because not alone at the assertion levels, not alone the financial statements, at the financial statement or assertion. No, there is no any option for financial or assertion. So both financial and assertion level, right? So moving to the question 146, which of the following audit testing method is most most effective as an audit test and gives the best audit evidence. Which gives the best audit evidence? Which one? Re-performance give you the best audit evidence. Okay. So moving to the question 147, applying dash gives the most effective and efficient audit evidence while using audit testing methods. Audit testing methods he is talking about, right? So here the answer, which is inquiry in combination with inspections in some few cases may give the right option, but the strong answer which I would say is observation in combination with re-performance, which will be giving you the effective and efficient audit evidence. Okay. So moving to the question 148, which of the following factor is or considered in determining the sample size for test of control? Okay. So option A, projected error. Okay. If there is any projected error, then tolerable error. Tolerable error doesn't come under the right consideration, right? While determining the sample size. Then expected error. So option B and C, right? So D is saying that option B and C, right? So here there is an already answer given here. So, but whereas if you look, while determining the sample size for test of control, the following are considered, like what they are means tolerable error, expected error considered, but projected error is generally not used directly in determining sample size, as it often refers to the estimated errors after the testing has been conducted, rather than a factor used in the initial sample size determination. So here the right option, which is both B and C, I would say, because tolerable error and expected error. So which will be considered in determining the sample size. So here the option is D, both B and C. Okay. So next, moving to the question 145. 149. Tolerable error is the maximum monetary error that the auditor is prepared to accept in the population and still conclude the audit objective has been achieved. Is directly related to what? Question number 149. So here the tolerable error is closely related to the concept of materiality in auditing. Okay. So because the materiality refers to the significance of financial information and the threshold set by the auditors regarding errors that could influence the decision making of users of the financial statement. So here the total tolerable error indicates the maximum acceptable error in the population. So which is nothing but which is based on the materiality. So the right option, which is materiality, right? So moving to the question number 150, which of the following is source of non-sampling risk? Human mistakes is a non-sampling risk, which we have discussed under. Applying audit procedures are not appropriate to the objectives of it is also non-sampling because it's a human mistake. Misinterpreting the sample results, it's also human mistake, so it is non-sampling risk. So option is all of the above. So moving to the question number 151, which of the following is more scientific? Obviously, statistical is the most scientific, right? In random sample, each item of population has equal chance of selection. The right option, without looking for any other option, you can state. But there are all of these options, so you have to look for remaining two. Has varying chance of selection depending upon placing of items? No. May have a chance of selection based on auditor's professional judgment. That situation may arise, may not arise, right? So there are equal chance of selection is the perfect answer. So moving to the question 153, substantive analytical procedure generally more applicable to large volume of transaction, yet transaction predictable over time, right? Both A and B, right? So option is both A and B because large volumes of transactions, which is nothing but analytical procedures, can efficiently analyze trends and ratios across many transactions, making them applicable in cases where there are large amounts of data. And whereas transactions predictable over time, these procedures are especially effective for transactions that exhibit predictable patterns, as they follow auditors to assess whether the recorded amounts align with the expectations based on historical data, right? So here the option, which is both A and B. Okay, so moving to the question 144, what are analytical procedures? What are the analytical procedures? So here, analytical procedures are primarily used to what? Evaluate in financial information by studying plausible relationship among the both financial and non-financial data. Okay, so which involves the comparing current financial information with prior periods, budgets, and forecast to identify any unexpected variances that may require further investigation, right? So here the given options are substantive test designed to assess control risk, substantive test designed to evaluate the validity of management representation letter, substantive test designed to study relationship between financial and non-financial data is the right answer. Okay, so 155, the basic assumptions underlying the use of analytical procedure is what? It helps the auditor to study relationship among elements of financial information Okay, relationship among data exists and continue in the absence of known condition to the contrary is the right option. Okay, analytical procedures will not be able to detect unusual relationship. How it is the right answer, right? So okay, so moving to the question number 156. Dash refers to the record of audit procedures performed, relevant audit evidence obtained, and the conclusions the auditor reached, obviously, which is audit documentation. Okay, moving to the question 157. Dash may be defined as one or more folders or other shortage storage media in physical or electronic form containing the records that comprise the audit documentation for a specific engagement, which is nothing but audit file. Okay, clear? So moving to the question 158. As per exclusive one, an appropriate time limit within which to complete the assembly of the final audit file is ordinarily not more than how many days? We have discussed the duration, which is 60 days. Okay. So moving to the question 159, a request that the confirming party respond directly to the auditor only if the confirming party disagrees with the information provided in the request. So which is nothing but so, a negative confirmation request is a type of confirmation used in auditing where the auditor requests the confirming party to respond only if they disagree with the information provided in the confirmation request. Okay, if the confirming party does not respond, it is assumed that they agree with the information stated. So here, the right option which is negative confirmation request. Okay, so option C. Moving to the question 160, which of the following is not an audit procedure to obtain audit evidence? Inspection, observation, external control. These are the audit procedures. But what is the internal control? It is odd one. Okay, internal control is not an audit procedure. So moving to the question 161, the auditor of a sole proprietor concern is appointed by sole proprietor himself. Yes, no one like C&AG, they never involve. Bank, district economy, they never involve. Like sole proprietor himself. So moving to the question 162, in addition to the audit certificate in the prescribed form and various schedules, the auditor of a cooperative society in the applicable state has to answer two sets of questionnaires called as what? Audit memos. Okay, which we have discussed, right? Okay, moving to the question number 163. While conducting the audit of a local body, the auditor's area of audit do not include what? Which it will not include budgetary procedure, expenditure controller, accounting system, dispute resolution. So while conducting the audit of a local body, so here the auditor's area of audit do not include. He is stating that here do not include. So conducting an audit of a local body, the auditor's area of audit do not include. He is not performed to do what? Dispute resolution, right? So he is not responsible for the dispute resolution. So dispute resolution is not generally not an area of focus for auditors conducting financial audits of local bodies, right? So the right answer, which is dispute resolution. Okay. So moving to the question 164, which of the following is not a type of modified opinion? Not a qualified opinion is a type of modified opinion. Adverse also disclaimer. These are all modified opinion. So negative opinion is not a type of modified opinion. Okay. So the auditor shall express dash opinion when the auditor, having obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence, concludes that misstatements individually or in the aggregate are both material and pervasive to the financial statement. Which opinion will be like? Which opinion? Come on, we have like already discussed. This is nothing but negative, which is adverse opinion, right? So then moving to the question 166. SA 700 requires the use of specific headings which are intended to assist in making auditor reports that refers to audit that have been conducted in accordance with SA more recognizably. Which of the following is the specific heading? E-audit matters, basis of opinion, date, all of the above. Which? All of the above. SA 700, which includes all these headings, right? So moving to the question 167. The opinion section of the auditor's report shall, option A, opinion section, identify the entity whose financial statement have been audited and state that the financial statement have been audited, identify the title of each statement comprising the financial statements, D, all of the above. So option which is all of the above. Okay. So moving to the question number 168, the term audit has been derived from the Latin word array, which means to what? To what? Which we have already discussed, right? So it's quite easy answer. Okay. So Latin word adhere means to here. Okay. So moving to the question number 169. Okay. The main objective of an audit is to determine whether the financial statement present a dash of the financial position and financial performance of a business during the period. True and fair, right? Which of the following is not the type of audit? Management audit, statutory audit, environment audit. Have you ever heard about the benchmarking audit? It's nowhere it is said to be benchmarking audit. So the right option is odd or not, which is benchmarking audit. So moving to the question number 171. IAASB is what is the full form? International Auditing and Assurance Standards Board, right? So moving to the question 172, which of the following is not the content of the audit engagement letter as per SA 210 agreeing the terms of the audit engagement? We have discussed all the contents of the audit engagement letter. So in which we have discussed the objective and scope of engagement will be included, management responsibilities also included. But what about the employee responsibility? We didn't ever mention this, right? Okay, so moving to the question number 173. In case of recurring audit, some working papers files so it's the files may be classified into audit files, dash audit files, and dash audit files, permanent and current audit files, right? So moving to the question 174, which of the following is not the method to obtain audit evidence? Inspection is a method, observation is a method, analytical review is a method, logical estimate is not a method, right? So dash refers to the responsibility of material misstatements due to complex transactions or even due to organized fraud, which is nothing but inherent risk, right? We have discussed. So dash equal to inherent risk into control risk into detection risk, which is nothing but audit risk. Okay, so moving to the question 177. Tax audit is conducted under section of dash of Income Tax Act 1961. 44AB. You must be careful with the sections. Okay, so dash and dash are the types of internal control of organization. Preventive and deductive, right? So moving to the question number 179, which of the following is not the technique for evaluation of internal control system? We use narrative records, checklist, internal question, but there is no any term called confirmation letter, right? So which is the right option here? Okay, it's not a technique for evaluation of internal control system. Moving to the question 180, routine checking is normally performed by whom? Audit clerks. Okay, routine check is performed by audit clerks. So moving to the question 181, which of the following are audit techniques? Routine checking and test checking is a audit techniques, cut-off examination. So all of them. Okay. So moving to the question 182, dash may be defined as documents, records relating to transactions that enable an auditor to trace the transactions from the source document to the summarized total in accounting reports, which is nothing but which one? Audit trail. We have discussed in the audit trail, right? So moving to the question number 183, which of the following is disqualification for company auditor? An officer or employee of the company it's a disqualification. An officer, a person who is partner or who is in the employment of an officer or employee of the company, it's also true. A person who are his relative or partner, right? So then option D is all of the above. So moving to the question 184, form number dash is used for informing register of companies of appointment of first auditor of company in its first annual general meeting. So it is nothing but ADT 1. We have discussed in the beginning itself, right? It's same repeated here. So every chartered accountant can hold, moving to the next question, every chartered accountant can hold appointment as statutory auditor of 20 companies other than 1% company, small company, private company having paid up share capital of less than 100 crores. So the right option, which is D, all of the above. So moving to the question 186, every auditor as an individual or as a partner of a firm can accept a maximum of tax audit assignments here. So here the tax audit assignment is the limit which is maximum to the 60. Clear? So which of the following is the right of the company auditor? So inspect books of accounts and voucher. Yes, it's right. Obtain information and explanation. Yes, it's also right. Inspect branch office and branch accounts. It's also right. So option D is the all of the above. So moving to the question number 188. Which of the following are duties of company auditor? Duty to inquire, duty to report on financial statements of the company, duty regarding inclusion of certain matters in their audit report. Yes, D, all of the above is the right answer. So question number 189. It is a duty of the company auditor to report which is expected to cross value of rupees dash to the central government. What is the limit? Okay, it is 1 crore. Okay, we have discussed, right? So as per section 34, where the auditor has authorized the issue of any prospectus which includes any statement which is untrue or misleading, auditor shall face criminal liability. We have stated it, right? With regards to prospectus. Moving to the question 191, which of the following is not the benefit of cost audit? It is a benefit, helps in pricing policy, identifies inefficiency, helps in determination of standard cost. How come? So cost accounting is helpful for determination of standard cost, but not cost audit. So option C is not the benefit of cost audit. So moving to the question number 192, secretarial audit should be the member of Institute of ICSI, which is nothing but Company Secretaries of India. Okay. So then, educational institutions of any state in India are generally established and run under the Dash or Public Trust Act of the state concerned, Societies Registration Act 1960. Okay. Then audit procedure of educational institution involves what? Initial consideration we have discussed, right? I hope you remember all those things. Understand the constitution, assess the internal control system, consult the mini book. So option D, all of the above is the right answer. Clear? So moving to the question number 195, casual vacancy in auditor includes, there is a death, there will be a casual vacancy, resignation, disqualification. So option D, all of the above is the right option. So dash is a confident and forceful statement of fact or belief, which is nothing but what? Assertion, right? 196. Nothing but. So next 197. Dash is a written communication of the exactness of the fact stated therein and does not involve any estimate or opinion. So here nothing but audit report. Sorry, audit certificate here. Audit certificate, because audit certificate is a written declaration that certifies the exactness of the facts stated in it without involving any estimates or opinion, right? So it provides factual confirmation of specific matters. Example, confirmation of assets or liabilities, and it's not interpretive like an audit report, because in the audit report you will be expressing an opinion. Okay. So moving to the question 198. Which of the following is not the characteristics of good audit report? Simplicity is a good audit report. Clarity is a good audit report. Fairness is also. So then what is the right answer? It's not a characteristic, future prediction. Okay. So moving to the question number 199. Audit engagement offers dash level of reasonable insurance. High level of insurance. Okay. Then moving to the question number 200. The final one of our double-ended MCQ series. Okay. Dash audit involves examination of all the operations and activities of the entity under audit. Dash audit. Which audit? Operational audit, because operational audits focuses on evaluating the efficiency and effectiveness of an organization operations, because it involves examining all aspects of the entity's activities to determine how well they are being conducted and to identify areas for improvement. Whereas management audit generally assess what the overall effectiveness of management in achieving the organization's objective, but may not cover every operation in detail. And cost audit specifically focuses on what cost accounting records and cost control mechanism rather than all operations. So, and performance audit, what it evaluates the performance of specific programs or activities, but may not cover the entire range of operations like an operational audit does. Okay. So the right option, which is operational. So okay. So with this, we have completed the double-ended MCQ series. I hope you all you're like recollected your all your concepts. I hope it will be much more helpful during your exams. Okay. So hope you enjoyed watching the video. So thank you.